What is up, everyone? Movie Wayne back again with another review, and this is going to be for the 2023 film Creed 3, and this is directed by Michael B. Jordan in what is his directional debut, and he also stars in the movie alongside Jonathan Majors. This tells the story of a retired Adonis Creed who can't escape his past when an old friend turns up on the scene. The Rocky franchise, for me, does not have a bad movie, and that continued with the past two Creed films, which are really good. But this was the first in this universe that did not feature Sylvester Stallone. And without getting into all the politics of why that was happening, it was in the back of my mind going in, and I couldn't help but scratch that away. However, I was always going to give my full attention to this film with or without Sylvester Stallone, and in my most anticipated movies of 2023 list, Creed 3 was actually second, and I was even more intrigued when I heard Michael B. Jordan was going to take a swipe at directing this one. Creed 3 is definitely more dramatised than a lot of the films that came before it as well in this franchise, with a heavy focus on family life. It tries to be a little bit more than your common boxing movie with its story, and we find Adonis Creed trying to balance the past with the present and how he's struggling with that. And this gives us pretty much a bit of a slow burn for the first two acts of this film, but for me that wasn't a bad thing. I like it when franchises try to do something a little bit different there, and you could tell that the movie was coming from different angles. It wasn't just copy and paste like every other Rocky or Creed movie that came before it, and Michael B. Jordan just wanted to put his own little spin on things there. There are flashbacks unravelled to us throughout this runtime of Creed's teen years, which plays a huge part in this film's story, and that is only taken up a notch even more when Damien appears on screen, the new villain of this movie, let's say, and Creed's old friend. And that is interwoven with the dialogue that he has with other characters, and we just learn more and more about why he's back and what happened between the pair back in the day. And Jonathan Majors, who plays this monster of a man in this movie, was, for me, the best thing about Creed 3. He really reminded me of Clubber Lang a little bit, where he's just got this chip on his shoulder, he's a little bit angry with the way the world has treated him, and he will stop at nothing to get his title shot. And me and my friend, after the film, had a little talk, just speaking about the movie, and we both agreed that he was just an awesome character in this movie. And it really did feel like Adonis and Damien were really close-knit back in the day, because when they're on screen together, you can just feel this really good chemistry between the two. It's like when you grab your best friend in real life and you go for a bite to eat or something, and the conversation just feels natural and flows, and that's what felt like when these two were together on screen. But the whole cast is on point here. I don't really need to explain to you all how good of an actor Michael B. Jordan is. He's great in the first two Creed movies, and this is no exception. However, I feel like he's just great in everything. Every movie I see him in, he just makes it seem so easy. And he's one of the best actors working today, isn't he? We also have Tessa Thompson, once again, with a great performance here. She's a huge part of these Creed films, and she is the rock for Adonis Creed. She's the one that Adonis turns to when he needs advice or going through some life struggles, kind of like Adrian was to Rocky in them movies. But Myla Davis-Kent, who is this very young actress in this movie, was awesome as Adonis Creed's daughter. And I really like the whole daddy-daughter dynamic that her and Adonis had going on. It was really great chemistry, kind of like Adonis and Damien in this movie. So yeah, it really all worked across the board here for the cast members. However, this is a boxing movie after all, and when these boxing scenes happen, they look great. This is how a modern boxing movie should look. And the middle fight of this film was a great standout part of the movie for me. There is some zoomed in camera shots, some really slow motion scenes that really do add a lot of tension to the battle between the two in the ring. And by the way, the soundtrack to this film is awesome. When the movie opens with The Watcher by Dr. Dre, which is my favourite song by Dre, you got my attention. Now, this is probably just me being a little bit selfish because I love the character so much, but I do feel like this film just needed one little moment of Rocky Balboa in there. I just wanted him to just appear later on, especially when Creed is having a few problems. Even if it was just a flashback to something Rocky Balboa had taught him in the past, it does feel like it's just missing Rocky there. And I can't just come into this review and say that it wasn't, because I did feel it, and it's a scratch that still lingers. Basically, I do feel like he was missing here, unfortunately, but I get it. It's Michael B. Jordan's story now. I suppose we just have to let go of him. But when a franchise has got 9 movies now, and he's been in them all except this one, I think you're bound to miss him, especially fans of the series. Now, this is a bit of a mixed thought for me here, because I don't necessarily think this is a bad thing, but the fact that Michael B. Jordan tried to shake it up a little bit there with flashbacks of something that happened years ago and adding lots more dramatization to the movie and even filming it a little bit differently in places, especially the fight scenes, you can't get away from the fact that these boxing movies, and that's what it is, a boxing movie fact, follow the same formula. You can try and change it all you want, but unless you're going to throw the audience off way heavy, all leads down one path, doesn't it? To a big fight at the end. So I respect Michael B. Jordan for trying lots of different things here, but ultimately, there's only one place you can go with these films. But speaking of that final fight, there's something Michael B. Jordan did here that did not sit right with me at all. And it's so glaringly obvious to what it is when you see the movie. And I even turned to my friend and went, really? Did that just happen? And he couldn't believe it either. And I just wish he didn't do that. It was a bold choice from him that just didn't pay off for me. And it was the biggest negative about the movie, and actually made the middle fight of the film feel better than the last one. Now, there's also 1 or 2 pacing issues with the movie here. The first 2 acts are very slow burn, which I didn't have a problem with, like I said before. However, it does make the third act feel quite rushed. I mean, it all just seemed to happen very, very quickly there, and I just thought that it should have given you a bit of a better payoff, in my opinion, because it just feels like Creed doesn't really have too much to lose, and the stakes don't seem as high as they did in the rest of the films that came before it. However, this was still a pretty good movie and continues the trend of, for me, not having a bad film in this entire franchise. Yes, I don't mind Rocky V either. And even though it's on the lower end of these movies, still had a lot of fun with it. I'm just going to go ahead and rate this movie now. I'm going to give Creed 3 a 7.5 out of 10. Yes, I've given that score quite a few times, haven't I? Well, it's just my comfort score, I guess. Okay, at the end of these reviews, I always like to leave a little fun fact. Now, a fun fact for Creed 3 is that it's implied in this movie that Jonathan Majors' character, Damien, is actually older than your young Adonis Creed here. And in fact, in real life, Michael B. Jordan is actually 2 years older than Jonathan Majors. Okay, guys, I hope you all enjoyed this review. Please consider giving this video a like and subscribing to this channel. It would really help me out. And if you want to comment about Creed 3 or any of the Rocky movies, leave it down below and I'll try and get back to you all, I promise. Take it all easy, and I'll see you all next video.